Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. How is everybody? I mean, it's been such a good day. I've got so much to talk about. I might not even get everything in today, but we've got some big news. Alison Bailey has won a employment tribunal case. It's really time for celebrations. I'm really happy that, and it's very bright, isn't it? Oh dear, I don't know. Looks a bit bright on screen. I don't know whether you're receiving it like this, but it's quite bright. But never mind. Anyway, I am really happy that Alison Bailey has smashed it. She's basically won the employment tribunal case. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read what Alison Bailey put out on Twitter. Okay, fantastic stuff. So hello, Amy. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate you coming to join. I suppose you've heard about Alison Bailey winning. It's really time for celebrations. It's fantastically brilliant. I'm going to read out the tweet that she put out on Twitter. She actually said the employment tribunal found that Garden Court Chambers discriminated against me because of my gender critical belief when it published a statement that I was under investigation and in upholding Stonewall's complaint against me. She went on to say the employment tribunal further found that Garden Court Chambers also victimized me by upholding the Stonewall complaint because of my protected act, which of course was tweeting against the idea of the cotton ceiling and about the appalling levels of fear and intimidation driving the Stonewall self-ID agenda. She went on to say in another tweet, in doing so, the tribunal held that my protected gender critical belief also included the belief that gender identity theory was I meant to find a pronunciation of that word actually. Proselytized by Stonewall is severely detrimental to women and to lesbians. She went on to say in another tweet that the employment has ordered Garden Court Chambers to pay me damages, which include aggravated damages. Which is good. And then she went on to say that I have lost my case against Stonewall, but I have succeeded in exposing Stonewall's conduct and the enormous, and to my mind, malign influence it wields in the workplace and in society more generally. In another tweet, she went on to say organizations who put Stonewall law before equality law or seek to silence others from wrongfully voicing their criticism of Stonewall may be acting unlawfully and will suffer the consequences, even if Stonewall does not. My profound and heartfelt thanks to everyone of you who supported me. I did not win everything, but I won enough. We did it. Thank you. Full judgment to follow, and if you want to see the judgment, I will consider it. I think it is actually now on Alison Bailey's Twitter. I might see about getting it up on my Twitter as well. I'll see what I can do, but this is absolutely fantastic news. I'm really glad that she won her employment tribunal case. It's big. It means a lot. I mean, it'll go down in history. Alison will certainly go down in history. This is brilliant news, and I'm so pleased. I'm very, very sad that she didn't win the case with Stonewall, but it was a long shot. But I mean, at least as she says, she has exposed exactly what Stonewall and their conduct and enormous malign influence, she said, that it wields in the workplace and in society more general. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. Thank you, Alison, for sticking with this, for not backing down. It was an important case, and you've won. You're going to get your compensation, and it really has exposed so much. It's brilliant. The great J.K. Rowling tweeted out, Alison Bailey is a heroine of mine and innumerable other feminists for refusing to and innumerable other feminists for refusing to abandon her beliefs and principles in the fact of intimidation and discrimination. Congratulations, Alison Bailey. That's what J.K. Rowling tweeted out today. There's been masses of tweets from celebrities, politicians, and people from all walks of life congratulating Alison Bailey on a win against Gordon Court Chambers and condemning Stonewall. There's been lots of hashtags. I think there's an hashtag currently trending on Twitter. This is absolutely brilliant. I'm so pleased that Alison has won. So congratulations. We'll talk about Alison on Saturday again, but this is brilliant news. There's a few articles. I've managed to put a couple of articles up. I'm really pleased for Alison. Fantastic, brilliant for Alison. So I ask people to join in with the gender ideology fight and support people that are speaking out. This isn't about saving women's sports anymore. We still need to do. So it's not about saving women's sports, but we still need to do that. It's not about saving spaces anymore, which we still need to fight for. This is now becoming more and more about child safeguarding. And I keep repeatedly saying this, the gender lobby are coming after your kids. And we're going to move on to the Stonewall tweet about 2-year-olds. Before I do that, I just want to say that I've had a few DMs, emails, messages, mainly about the controversial Stonewall. And it does seem that more activists have finally been convinced about Stonewall and how ghastly they are and what they actually stand for. And it's not good. You know, it's a case of you know, more and more people now are realizing that Stonewall are not good. It's really not good what they stand for, and they're walking away from them, which is really good. I've had several people that have questioned what they've been saying on social media to me, you know, as I've said, and the penny's dropped now. The penny is dropping, and people are understanding, and they're shocked. They're shocked what Stonewall are like. I'm not. I mean, I saw this coming from Stonewall, like a lot of feminists, like other gay men, like other, you know, men. We saw this coming. We've seen this coming for a long, long time. But thankfully, these people, some that are my acquaintances, I don't know whether I can call them friends, but definitely acquaintances, are now seeing what Stonewall are finally like. And you don't need to apologize to me. I'm so glad that you've finally seen for yourself that Stonewall are not doing anyone any favor. They're not doing LGBT people any favor. They're not doing women any favor. They're certainly not doing children a favor, and they're not doing trans people themselves a favor. But you're seeing this now. I mean, that tweet were a typical example, and that's the most important thing, that you're seeing it, and that's what I've been trying to get through to a lot of people. You know what Stonewall are really like. Of those that are still supporting or speaking highly of controversial Stonewall, we'll get you next time round, because believe you me, Stonewall are going to screw up again. They've screwed up far too many times. They're going to screw up again. We will get you. We'll get you next time round, and you'll be saying, you know, Alex, you were right all along. Yeah, we are. Get out of Stonewall. Don't support them. But I'm very happy that people are now contacting me to say that, you know, they don't agree with Stonewall anymore. They don't support Stonewall anymore, and they've walked away. And that's it forever, you know, and I'm really pleased. So thank you to these people, whether I can call you friends or acquaintances or, you know, colleagues or whatever. But thanks for contacting me. Thanks for telling me that you finally saw the light and you're walking away from Stonewall, you know. And I think there'll be many people that will have been walking away from Stonewall. But there's been lots of hashtags that I'm seeing on social media. As I say, several trending. We've got the Stonewall out trending. We've got defund Stonewall, which has been trending over the last couple of days. We've got shut Stonewall down, come out of Stonewall, which has been my favorite hashtag ever since I started, you know, the fight and the activism against this ghastly organization. We've got Stonewall must fall. We've got anti-gay Stonewall, anti-lesbian Stonewall. We've also got I'm not going to say that, actually. It's a swear word, and I'm not going to say that. If there's an hashtag I've missed, can you let me know in the comments, because I would like to use it on my social media too. I particularly say a lot about Stonewall. So much articles, there's so much to say about Stonewall, and not in a good way. I say so much about Stonewall in quite a bad way, because there's so much bad things that they do in. Please let me know in the comments, whatever hashtag, let me know, please. Yeah, and I will use that as well on my, so I'm on a lot of social media platforms, so please, you know, let me know any more hashtags, and I will use them. Talking about Stonewall, again, maybe we can convince you, right, talking about Stonewall, maybe we can convince you to follow the people I've just given a mention. I don't know what, oh no, I'm sorry, that was something else, so just ignore that. Right, so let's not forget, okay, that Stonewall branded lesbians sexual racists for rightfully raising concerns about being pressured into having sex with trans women, and I put trans women in brackets because that's undefined, who still have male genitalia. That's not. So they did that. The LGB group actually did that. If you want proof, have a look at my social media. I have got an article that I've just put up. Just have a look. Brilliant. It's a brilliant article showing exactly what Stonewall is, and that'll give you the proof that Nancy and Stonewall actually really did say that. And this is a group that's supposed to be supporting lesbians, and this is what they think of lesbians, really. So I keep asking the question: isn't it time your organization, company, or government department come out of Stonewall? Why are you still there? You know, and if anyone wants to see proof, okay, of that, what I've, you know, of basically Stonewall saying that they're branded lesbian, sexual racists, I have actually put it on my Twitter, Minds, Facebook, and GETTR profile. There's a link I posted, and it was on Sunday, so take a look, and that'll give you all the proof you need. So please check my social media out, particularly GETTR, because I'm a big fan of GETTR. Okay, but check it out. I'm going to go on to Stonewall again. The actual controversial tweet that they put out on Saturday. This has very much been condemned across social media. It's been condemned everywhere, not just on Twitter, everywhere. And they've been incorrectly claiming that children as young as 2 can recognise if they're transgender, and nurseries should teach that idea. It's escalating with complaints. Charities Commission have been informed. I made a formal complaint to the Charities Commission. I've had a confirmation that that has been received. I'd be interested to know what the Charities Commission are going to do. And more pressure really has been put on government departments, companies, and organisations under increasing pressure to drop Stonewall and their ghastly champion scheme. So we've not just got the tweet, we've now got Alison Bailey. I know that Stonewall can say, you know, I mean, Alison Bailey lost against Stonewall. She said that, but she has exposed what they are. And I think this is putting more pressure, you know, on people, especially with this disgusting tweet. It's absolutely vile. I'm going to read the tweet of what Stonewall said. I think I read it in my last stream. I'm going to read it again. It says, I'll read this to you. So it says research. Now, this is research, okay? This is how they started it, research. This is research that they have refused to provide to the people that have asked for it. Now, there's quite a few people asked for this research. Stonewall have refused to provide the research they're talking about. So the tweet goes as follows. Research suggests that children as young as 2 recognise their trans identity. Yet many nurseries and schools teach a binary understanding of pre-assigned gender. LGBTQ+++ inclusive and affirming education is crucial for the well-being of all young people. If you're not concerned about that tweet, something must be wrong with you. If you're still supporting Stonewall after that tweet, you need to take a good look at yourself. That is not a tweet that an organization like Stonewall should be, like anybody should be putting out. If you're supporting Stonewall, you need to take a good look at yourself. I mean, speaking up for ghastly Stonewall at this point, and a member of their now dirty schemes, could ruin your own reputation. And that's what they are. They are dirty schemes. Okay. You know, these schemes have been called out and called out. They've been called out in the press. They've been called out by people who know what they're talking about. They've been called out by government. They've been called out by channels. What we need to do, What you need to do is get out of Stonewall before it's too late. So back in the day, organizations used to leave Stonewall in secret. Us activists, we had to get the information by requesting Freedom of Information Act requests. Okay, now companies and government departments are proudly advertising the fact that they've cut off all ties with Stonewall. I'm seeing it more and more on Twitter and social media in general. So if you're responsible for paying Stonewall's membership of their controversial and ghastly and dirty champion schemes, it's on you. It's on your reputation now. The dirt will stick on you. Okay, so if you're the one who's forking out for this, if you're the one who's authorizing this money, it's now the reputation is now on you for being a member of this scheme. Okay, it's going to stick on you. My advice: get out while you can. It's time to pull your company, organization, or government department out. Remember, we're watching you, and Stonewall will only get worse. They have got worse. They are getting worse. Okay, this is what Stonewall are doing. Okay, get out of Stonewall before it damages your own reputation, before it damages your own organization. Okay, before it damages your company. Okay, this is what's happening now. You need to get out of Stonewall. So, it really is time to pull your company, organization, and government department. Remember, we're watching you. We really are. And I thought I'd repeat that again because we are watching you, and we know who you are. We know who are the people that are authorizing it. We know which companies are in. Okay. And it will only get worse. Your reputation will get worse. So I ask the question again, why the hell is your organization, company, or government department supporting this disgraceful organization that clearly isn't representing everybody they say they are? Stonewall's become a money spinner. Get your company out, because if you don't, in the future, it may bring your own organization into disrepute. It may bring your own reputation into disrepute. Things will only get worse in Stonewall. Get out now before it ruins your reputation too. Okay, so the numbers on Stonewall's tweets. Now, I took this a few days ago because the tweet came out on Saturday. Or was it a week ago? Actually, it was quite a while ago. But the tweets on Stonewall were, it was 4,500 likes at that point. Why anybody would like a tweet teaching trans ideologies to 2-year-olds is beyond me. It's just beyond me completely. Perhaps they were bots. I don't know, but this is very, very worrying. But considering there's so many bots on Twitter, I wouldn't imagine that all those were people. I think the people that did like that tweet really need to look at yourself, because this is trans in 2-year-olds isn't really very clever. It's not doing anything for anybody's rights, and it's not doing anything for kids, But anyway, 4.2 thousand. I think we're talking about 4,500 quote tweets, and they were nearly all hostile, and nearly 12,000 replies, nearly all hostile, compared to 4,500 likes. I'd say that tweet was very much ratioed on a big scale, and bearing in mind, okay, that many people are banned, are blocked, should I say, from actually accessing Stonewall's account on Twitter. Okay, so people, I'm blocked, so I couldn't reply, I couldn't quote tweet it. There's no way I can do that. I don't think I can could tweet it anyway, but I don't think I can. So that is a pretty ratioed tweet from on Stonewall. So this is it. So it's angered a lot of people. A lot of people have been angered. So yeah, Stonewall used to stand for equal rights for lesbians, bisexuals, and gay men. Now it stands for teaching trans ideology to 2-year-olds. That's what the tweet said. That's exactly what the tweet said. So yeah, let that sink in. It's you and your organization that you want to be, that you could be connected to. So don't be connected to Stonewall. It's time you pulled your organization and controversial Stonewall out of your organization. I'm confident soon more and more people are going to pull Stonewall out, because it will only get worse. So my question is, and please let me know in the comments, why are you still giving this ghastly organization Stonewall your money? Yeah. So Stonewall has labeled lesbians racist for being actual lesbians. They've redefined same-sex attraction. They've harassed a lesbian barrister. Now I know that court case has actually changed that, but actually they have. you know, they have tried, you know, they did. I mean, I've seen all the evidence. I mean, it's not legally, you know, I mean, she lost that, you know, but they still did harass her. They still tried to get her to lose the job. They still told, you know, Garden Court Chambers to remove her from, was it? I mean, I don't exactly know what they said now, but I did actually read, because Alison did put that tweet out about what they'd done. So, you know, I suppose they did still harass a lesbian barrister. You know, I think they did. You know, but they've pushed an armful of regressive ideology in our schools, and they've campaigned for males to be in women's sports, spaces, and services. So if you're gay, lesbian, and bisexual, you want to ask yourself why you're actually supporting them. If you are, they don't seem to be doing lesbians, gay, or bisexual people a favor anymore. I'm not actually sure what they're doing for trans people by doing what they're doing, but they're not supporting. They're definitely not supporting LGBT people anymore. They've thrown them under a bus. So, you know, you need to consider, you know, who you are supporting. So we'll go for Stonewall again, okay, because there's so much to do. As I say, I'm not going to get to say all what I wanted to do today. I might have to bring some of it out on Saturday, but I'd like to read a quote from Nancy Kelly. This is what she said recently. Okay, and this should concern lesbians, but it actually should concern gay men and bisexual men. It should concern everybody. For what Nancy's saying, this is a CEO of an organization that's supposed to be supporting lesbians, and this is what she's saying. You know, nobody should ever be pressurized into dating or pressured into dating people they aren't attracted to. But if you find that when dating, you're writing off entire groups of people, like people of color, fat, disability, or trans people, you know, then it's worth considering how societal prejudice may have shaped your attractions. Now, I'm not being funny. I don't, you know, why should a heterosexual man be forced or even have to consider another heterosexual man in his dating pool? Or sorry, or it would be a gay man in his dating pool who pretends that he's a woman, or who decides that he's a woman. Why should that be? And why should lesbians do the same? Why should they have to put up with putting men who say they're women in their dating pool, who say they're lesbians? There's not really any such thing as a male lesbian. It's really insulting. It's homophobic, and it's very insulting. Why should they? So, Nancy, lesbians don't do males. Gay men don't do females. Okay, and that's it. And this is an organization that support these people that allegedly now support these people, and they're telling lesbians that they should do males, and they're telling gay men that they should do females. It's quite concerning, you know, why a so-called lesbian, gay, bisexual, I know they've got all the rest of the letters, but they're supposed to represent these people, and they're saying to lesbians, you should do males. They're saying to gay men, you should do females. You know, this is the sort of organization that you're supporting. So if you're supporting, if you know, if you're still supporting Stonewall, why? You know, they shouldn't be saying this. Especially, this is what you'd expect a far-right religious group saying. You know, lesbians should be doing males, gay men should be doing females. But no, Stonewall are doing it. You know, and it's pretty disgusting. It's pretty horrible. Okay, so, and lastly, on the subject of Stonewall, are you happy, Ruth Hunt, now Baroness Hunt? And yes, many questions have been raised about that. Where Stonewall is now. So are you happy, Ruth Hunt, where Stonewall is now? Suggesting 2-year-olds should be taught gender ideology in their nurseries. Ruth Hunt, you're not the woman you think you are. You're really not. And you started all this. You've brought Stonewall to its knees. You've got people screaming about Stonewall across the Western world. In fact, I think across the world, actually. I'm seeing it in countries outside the Western world that are calling Stonewall. You know, you started all this, Ruth. You know, and it's really, it's deeply concerning what you did. You know, all these men and women that put money to Stonewall, that fought for Stonewall, that put it where it was, and your decision has screwed it all up. And you'll find, because I'm confident that in the future we're going to be past Stonewall. You know, gay men and bisexual men and lesbians, they're walking away from it, and they're walking away in droves. They're not going to support this. There's even trans people walking away from it. And you started this, Ruth. I just hope that you're satisfied. I just hope, you know, that you're happy for what you've done. And if you're not, you should apologize, because that's what we need. Okay. So another one that's happened today, Kelly, well, it didn't happen today, it happened a few days ago. Kelly J. Keane is Aka the Posey Parker, great woman, a prominent women's rights activist campaigner. She was visited by Wiltshire Police for, and I quote, being untoward about paedophiles. The great child safeguarding activist posted a YouTube video on the 24th of July, which was several days ago, after which Wiltshire Police came to her home and told Kelly she was being untoward about paedophiles and that they will be filing, okay, a hate crime against her. How disgusting, Wiltshire Police. I find this very concerning. Since when does anyone have to be concerned about being untoward against paedophiles? I'm on YouTube now, and I want to tell you, Wiltshire Police, that paedophiles are disgusting creatures, some of the vilest subhuman beings in our society. They damage children. Who do Wiltshire Police think they are? I'm baffled why Wiltshire Police have done this. I really am. But Wiltshire Police and other police forces across the UK, in fact the world, but certainly the UK, should do more to protect our vulnerable children against these subhuman paedophiles and not support them in any way. Why are Wiltshire Police even speaking about paedophiles? I mean, these are disgraceful people. Untoward about paedophiles? I can think of many names to call paedophiles. They're disgusting people. They ruin children's lives. They are the most self-centered, selfish people that walk this planet. They really are. They don't care about children when they're abusing them. They are vile people. And I'm so glad that this has gone on Wiltshire Police's, well, it's been spoken about everywhere. I can't say on record, but I mean, it's been covered all over the place, been covered in newspapers and everywhere. So I'm really pleased that they've been really outed for this. I think Wiltshire Police need to make a public apology for what you've done to Kelly J. And I'm a fan. I stand by Posey Parker as always. Kelly J. Keane, I think she's a great woman. She's a great women's activist, a very prominent one. And thank you for Kelly J for standing strong and carrying on YouTube, fighting for women and fighting for children's safeguarding, because that's what we're all doing. All those activists that are supporting this, are supporting, gender critical views, are fighting against, are fighting for, should I say, children's safeguarding, because children's safeguarding has been damaged. Unfortunately, Wiltshire Police is likely to have been stonewalled by Stonewall, the ghastly organisation. It really is time, Wiltshire Police, that you left Stonewall. You are making fools of yourself. Okay? And if you want to visit me, you know where I live. Okay. So we're going to move on. Why is Tasmania treating lesbians like this, and women? It seems that in Tasmania it's now unlawful for lesbians to have single-sex exemption to hold events. This might also affect single-sex gatherings of women, whether lesbian, straight, or bi. I think there is a crowdfunder on my GETTR, and I've also put it on Twitter, I think, and it might actually be on the. I don't know whether I put it on the YouTube. I can't remember. It's just a crowdfunder. I think she's taken it to court. The lady that's involved in this and tried to arrange I think it was a same-sex lesbian do, and she was denied. There's been a lot about this in Tasmania, but yep, there is a crowdfunder to help. So if you can help, or share, at the very least, share the petition, share the crowdfunder, should I say? That should be that should help her a great deal. Right, so I'm just going to also, I'll go on to the book actually. So if you want to win 1 or 3 copies of my book, Brock Steele Sphere, okay, all you have to do is DM me the name of 007, the character 007. So this is a character written by British novelist Ian Fleming and appeared in over 26 swashbuckling movies. Can't pronounce it. It's because I'm getting hot. It's quite hot in this jacket, actually. I don't know why I put it on, but yeah. Yeah, so just DM me the name on GETTR. It's to celebrate, really. Unofficially, I'm not officially celebrating GETTR's DM, but GETTR now do DMs, and it's absolutely fantastic. They're could be a big competitor to Twitter in time. I think they will if they can't continue. So if you want to DM me, you know what his name is, that'd be great. You can enter from anywhere in the world. The book is in English, but it will be sent out. There's 1 or 3 copies up for grabs, paperback copies. So if you want a copy, please do. Oh, I dropped that on the, and you won't get that copy. That's my copy. So you know, you won't get the ruined copy. Right, I just wanted to read out, okay, a tweet from Joanne Cherry has put a tweet out, and I wanted to read this because I like Joanna Cherry. She she's an MP. She's a Scottish MP, and in the SNP party, taking a lot of flack because she, like me, like us all, we subscribe to biology. Like the majority of the population, Joanna Cherry is really speaking and believes and well, she knows it's not about beliefs, it's about knowledge. You know that we subscribe to biology, but because of this, unfortunately, she's put this tweet out, so I'll read it out. She says, "Yesterday, another man appeared in court charged with threatening me on account of my beliefs that sex matters, sex over gender. I want to be very clear that every time somebody in a position of power wrongly describes feminists or LGBT people like me as transphobic simply because we don't share their beliefs in gender identity theory, they risk inciting the sort of abuse and threats that I and others suffer from self-styled trans rights activists who, in truth, are nothing of the sort. Instead, they are just good old-fashioned misogynists and lesbophobes who are being encouraged and enabled by those who ought to know better. I don't think enough attention has been paid to this problem. It needs to be called out by those in a position of authority, or more women will leave politics, as I nearly did last year. I look forward to being able to put the full details of what has occurred in the public domain once the court process is complete." What I want to know is, I mean, as Joanna Cherry says, these so-called trans rights activists, she describes that they're nothing of the sort. They're not. What these trans rights activists are trying to do, they are disrupting trans rights. They're disrupting everybody's rights. I mean, how on earth do people think that they're going to get rights by doing this to Joanna Cherry, by continually bullying women online, by continually harassing? I've received death threats myself. I mean, I'm still waiting for the police to contact me what they're doing about their investigation of a death threat that was aimed at me. And it's awful when you get a death threat, because I'm not a horrible person. I don't wish anything bad to happen to trans people. I just want trans people to live the life, but I don't want trans people interfering in my life. I don't want trans people, you know, being. It shouldn't really matter about, you know, if you're trans, but it shouldn't have anything to do with me. And your rights shouldn't really impede on everybody else's rights, which is what trans activists are trying to get. That's where they're trying to ruin sports. They're trying to do this. They're trying to take over our LGBT organizations. You know, I don't wish anything on that. But when I got a death threat, it felt to me as though I got quite agitated and scared. It felt to me as though there was a terrorist out there that wanted to kill me. The words that were there is, "We know where you live and we are going to do you in." It felt like a terrorist was out there and is going to come to my house and murder me. It's really horrible. And I really feel for Joanna, you know, and all these women that regularly get threats and particularly death threats, nasty little death threats from people that, you know, should know better. I'm not here to stop trans people. You know, I'm not here to end, to end trans rights and this, that, and the other. I'm here to protect for children's safeguarding. I'm here to protect everybody's rights. you know? And if your rights is impeding on other people's rights, then no, that's it. And it's horrible when you've got to go as low as threatening people just because we're just telling the truth, just because we believe in basic biology, because we believe in science, because this is what it is. And actually, the majority of people believe this. It's horrible. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what Joanna, the details of what Joanna's going to put out on that. But it's pretty it's pretty pretty awful. Right, so where am I now? So I've lost where I am. Okay. Right, so yes, now I know where I am. So the next one, okay, is teachers and schools in Montgomery County Public Schools in Maryland, US, are now prohibited from disclosing students' transgender identity to parents. Now, why should people be concerned about that? Well, this is somebody's child. You know, this is somebody's child, and it's in other words that Montgomery County Public Schools are transitioning their pupils behind parents' back. They're not telling them anything, and it is absolutely disgraceful. I mean, parents have got a right, to know that if schools are trying to transition these pupils, and the reason they've got a right is because they've got a right to stop them. They've got a right to talk to the child. They've got a right to say, "Are you sure you're making the right decision?" I mean, at the end of the day, because they've got a right to stop them, because what schools are doing now is transitioning things behind parents' back. The next thing, they're on puberty blockers. The next thing, they're on surgery, and then a few years later, it's like, "I've made a mistake." But schools didn't trans people behind parents' back when I was at school. They didn't actually trans people at all. And I don't understand why they've got to do it now. What business is it of schools? I just don't understand why schools are interfering. I do, because schools are being pushed by organizations like Stonewall, and the American organizations, which is why they're doing it. Schools shouldn't be doing this. Teachers are not qualified to be dealing with a child's transgender, um, you know, identity, if you like. It's nothing to do with schools. Schools should not be doing this, and that's a concern to quite a few of us. But anyway, I just thought I'd mention it on the stream. So it's still in the US. Okay, we've got an elementary school that's been built with completely genderless bathrooms. Why, I ask? Why are we forcing our schoolgirls, our young schoolgirls, to go to the toilet with boys? This is what we're fighting for. This is wrong. And we all know this is wrong. We all know this is sick. It's appalling what's happening. So the John M. Gandy Elementary School is being built to serve Ashland, Virginia, and is set to open in 24-25. Hopefully, there'll be. Hopefully, I'm not confident in America it will, but hopefully by then there might be some changes. But as it presently is, it's one of the first. Its design is the first of the Hanover public schools to pander to gender ideology, and instead of building the typical sex-segregated restrooms, this new school plans to provide the dreaded genderless bathrooms for students K5, whatever that is. I don't know what K5 is, so maybe it's a year. I don't know, but that's what they're doing. Is this really helping the trans and gender debate? Is it really helping LGBT rights to take away girls' toilets? I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, do you really think this is helping the rights? Do you think parents are gonna not complain? Do you think girls are gonna suffer? Do you think girls are gonna go to they're not gonna refuse to go to the toilet, which is what's happening. They're refusing to go to the toilet all day because they won't go to the toilet while boys are there. Can't blame them. This is destroying girls' rights. This is disgusting behavior. It's disgusting. It really is. So more girls are going to suffer because boys are in their toilets. Yeah, disgraceful. It really is. So moving on. Okay, we've got the Food and Drug Administration warns of brain swelling and permanent vision loss found in children taking puberty blockers. I've said this on many occasions. I mean, puberty blockers are experimental. We don't really know what puberty blockers are going to do to children in time. But they do have quite a few side effects that we're now finding out. So they're causing abnormally low bone density, osteoporosis, and they're stunting height growth. And we're finding this out all the time. My advice is, if you're letting your child take them, you should perhaps think again. I mean, why do people need to take puberty blockers? I mean, nobody took my time, and it is an anti-cancer drug. Why are you giving your son or daughter an anti-cancer drug that's just been labeled puberty blockers? Because it damages puberty, and it does. It stops and slows and pauses and damages puberty. That's what it does. So your child could you could be ruining your child's health by giving your child puberty blockers, and later the child realizing that they wasn't trans, if that's whatever that is, all along. There are many detransitioners out there that are proving that point. Um, I did have something else actually that I wanted to talk about that, but I couldn't find the actual link. But it is on my GETTR somewhere, but it's quite a way down, and it would be on my Twitter, because I think it came out when I was on prior Twitter, and it was explaining what they were finding out. I think it was in Sweden or Denmark. It was a really good article of why they're cutting back on puberty blockers quite a lot. They're not giving them children, if any, because of the side effects they're finding out. I do hope that Britain and America can be sensible and see that. Just moving on, Twitter has suspended the parental rights organization Mums for Liberty. I don't know whether the account is still suspended, but apparently they posted a tweet accusing backers your gender-affirming healthcare bill of endangering children by facilitating out-of-state tourism for gender transitioned treatments for the young. Like I keep saying, Twitter should concern us all over freedom of speech. Twitter are really trying to silence us, and these people it's child safeguarding. They're expressing concerns, but look what Twitter are trying to do. They really are trying to silence them. So just a reminder that I'm on GETTR.com, the social media platform where many people should be, to support freedom of speech. So please, if you want to open an account on GETTR, follow me. I'm on there. I've got quite a long profile on there now. It's quite a lot of information on there, so please, I've not the screen there, but please, join me. And I'd also like to say that I'm now proudly on the Trump's Truth Social Network. So if you're on these networks, give us a follow. Please support my activism. I got on there a couple of days ago. I wanted to get on there, just to see what it was like. If you're on Truth Social, give us a follow. I'm Alex Bloodfire. We're better together. You know what I mean? There is a few people on there that I'm seeing, but yeah, we are better together. Let's fight this one through. Don't let these horrible trans activists win, because they're not doing our country a favor. They're not doing our world a favor. They're not doing society a favor. All they're doing is ruining everybody's rights, and this is what we see in. One thing I wanted to mention, I don't know whether I might not have time actually, so I'm going to mention it now. I'm seeing that there are people saying repeal Section 28. This is quite concerning, because we fought to get Section 28 out of schools. Section 28 is where teachers are not allowed to discuss homosexuality, bisexuality, and I mean, we didn't have trans around at that time. There was no such thing as it. But there are people now actively asking for the government to bring back Section 28. This is what Stonewall and its ilk are doing. They're ruining everyone's rights. So, if you're gay, lesbian, and bisexual, and even trans, we might be bringing, it may happen in the future if enough people start screaming and shouting about it. Section 28 comes back in schools. I mean, I don't think I could fight against it now, seeing the filth that people are being taught, and for what? you know, the disgraceful thing. So I mean, I wouldn't stand up and say I wouldn't stand up against it now. You know, I don't think that children should be transed behind parents' back. I really don't. And that is what's happening in UK schools. So, you know, this is what you're doing. You know, all we need is a campaign group to bring Section 28 back, and that's it. It's back in schools. Everything that we fought for, everything that Stonewall stood for, everything that all these activists stood for is all being ruined. And you need to see that. But you can't tell these trans activists. I sometimes wonder whether they're doing it on purpose. You know, they're so stupid. They outrage so many people, you know, but we'll see. So I'm going to move on to in Australia now. The Greens leader Adam Bant is accused of hypocrisy for calling himself a dad of two on social media while having a woke fit over the term birthing parent, rightly being replaced on a form by the word mother. Andy Bant, you really are silly. You know, this is stupid what you're doing. And I think we should all be cautious about you, Adam, trying to erase women. And how dare you say that this is excluding LGBTQ plus people? How dare you say that? You know, by excluding the word mother, okay, isn't excluding LGBT plus people. How dare you come out like that? Because civilized LGBT people are all rightly outraged about you too. We're all outraged, you know, they are. They're really outraged about you trying to, you know, thinking, you know, using the word dad and then complaining because they're bringing the word mother back. You really are stupid, Adam Bant, and you're really disappointing person. And I say, people should be cautious about you trying to erase the word woman. You know, they really should. But that's that. Staying in Australia, moving on, the Sydney parent of a 5-year-old child attending Roseville Kids Care complaining about his child being indoctrinated with radical LGBTQ alphabet soup gender theory has really done Australian parents a favour. 5 is too young for radical gender ideology. And I'd really like to know why anybody's been taught gender ideology in school at all. I mean, if people are trans, why do they need to be taught about it? You know, why do we need this pernicious and made up gender theory if people are supposed to be trans all along? And you know, why do we need to teach it in schools? But yeah, the parents have done of this 5-year-old child have really done Australia a favour. Nobody needed this nonsense in school years ago. It wasn't in schools, you know, until recently. So why do we need this nonsense in schools now? You know, if people are supposed to be trans and they, you know, because of course people are being indoctrinated, and that's exactly that. That's why we've got more and more people wondering who their gender is, wondering what their gender is, should I say, because it's just been, we've got indoctrination of a silly gender ideology, and it's just been forced on kids. That's what's happening. And got the, you know, knowledge here that, you know, it's just silly. So I'm going to move on to women's sports. Sadly, Rugby Australia still in Australia, will continue to allow trans players, males. Okay, that's biologically born males. I have to get that pronunciation right, that statement right, to participate in community rugby competitions. So Rugby Australia is going to continue to allow these players to participate in community rugby competitions. This is despite Rugby Football Union announcing there will be a vote on whether these athletes should be banned in English rugby. So what I say is, come on, Australia, give actual women a break. Andy Marinos, the chief executive of Rugby Australia, said, "We are aligned with World Rugby on the professional side of the game, but we decided to adopt our own community guidelines. When it came to so they decided to he's saying he decided to adopt our own community guidelines when it came to permitting transgender participants to play the game. Are you not concerned about the safety of women, Andy? You know, and why allow biologically born males to be given a platform to cheat, Andy? Have some respect for actual women, Andy. You know, I mean, when did biologically born males become women. Because I mean, where was I when it happened? You know, these people are biologically born males. You know, I'm not really sure that, you know, they should be in female sports. In fact, they shouldn't be in female sport. Okay, so I want to read a quote from the the Rugby Football Union. They've said, okay, in England, okay, they said the science provides the basis of the recommendation that inclusion of trans people assigned at birth. Now, we all know that people are not assigned male at birth, but this is their own words. They've said that trans people assigned male at birth in female contact rugby cannot be balanced against considerations of safety and fairness. So what they're saying is that, you know, the recommendations is that they cannot continue to allow biologically born males in females rugby, contact rugby. The recommendation is that until such time as new science is available, a precautionary approach is appropriate to ensure fair competition and safety of all competitors. There is never going to be any new science that will say that, you know, biologically born males are the same as biologically born females. You know, it's always going to be, they're always going to be an advantage, and they're always going to be stronger, which means there's going to be a safety issue. It's never going to change. There's never going to be any new science that's ever going to say any different. So hopefully this could be a permanent thing, but the tide is turning, and we are continually getting, you know, we are continually moving on in society. So hopefully, they went on to say that research suggests that a case-by-case assessment was not viable whilst there was no applicable standardized test to use in the process. Yeah, so that's it. You can't really do a case-by-case assessment when there's no test. You know, it's just a case of, so therefore the Rugby Football Union Council will vote on a recommendation for a policy change for contact rugby to only permit players in the female category whose sex recorded at birth was female. Now, we don't record, I don't know whether we do record sex at birth. We probably put it on a form, but it is observed. You know, but they probably do record it somewhere as well. But it is observed. We know that. So, so they're saying that sex recorded at birth was female in the male category, so they can't permit players who's, or they will only permit female. They will only permit players in the female category whose sex was female at birth, and in the male category, it's supposed that players whose sex recorded at birth is female may play if they provide written consent and a risk assessment is carried out. Now, why have I lost on that? So, in the male category, it's proposed that players whose sex recorded at birth is female may play if they provide written consent and a risk assessment is carried out. So I see they're not banning trans men from men's sport, but you know, they don't stand a cat in hell's chance really of winning, you know, because they are biological women against men, but they're not banning women playing in men's sport. But I don't think there is any women or many, certainly in the professional category. I've never seen any women playing alongside men in rugby. It'd just be crazy. But anyway, that's that. So female rugby is going to be female rugby, proper female rugby. I just want to congratulate Joanna Cherry, who's been elected as the new chair of the Joint Committee on Human Rights. This was last week. I think I mentioned it in the stream before this. But yeah, perfect. So just congratulate Joanna Cherry again. I did congratulate her on Twitter, but I think they've made the right choice there. She's a good woman. I do like Joanna, so that's good. One last thing actually, before we wrap up, because we've only got 5 minutes left. We've got oh, I hope I haven't we've got Stella Creasy, who is speaking very highly of Drag Story Hour. She has said that she's had a lovely afternoon at the Drag Story Hour today, which I think was yesterday. apparently Greta was there, a man who is a drag act, Greta, and apparently he put so much energy in storytelling and entertaining the local children. And she said that Walthamstow is a proud community that celebrates pride in a manner of speaking. Um, I wonder what other people think in Walthamstow, you know, and what Greta and the gang at Drag Story Hour UK are doing to the reputation of actual professional drag acts. You know, professional drag acts don't do this, you know, so I don't really consider Greta as a professional drag act because I don't think they go around entertaining children. Adult, you know, drag acts and drag queens are you know, professional adult entertainers. Um, so I don't know what they're going to do. Now, speaking on the drag act, though, there's been protesters have stormed the first drag queen story time for primary school children. I forget the area it was. I think it was somewhere in Birmingham. And they said that they're there to protect the children. So this Stella Creasy is, you know, I mean, I really think that this is just a bad idea to put, you know, these sexualized men in women's dresses, you know, reading stories to children. It's not right. Can they just not? I mean, is there no storytellers out there that can read? I mean, I'm a writer. Can I come and perhaps not read this because this is an adult's book, and I wouldn't want this to be read to children, you know, especially, I mean, we've got Stella Creasy also modeled her own baby, and there didn't seem to be anybody else in that Drag Story Hour UK in that library. And the library was the Morris Gallery in Walthamstow. I used to live in Walthamstow as well. It's really gone downhill like that, you know. I mean, it's appalling. But anyway, moving on. Okay, on that. We've got the trans man, Tarjit Singh, originally known as Hannah Walters. He's been jailed for 10 years. Oh, sorry, she, well, I get so confused now. So she's a biological female, okay, and she's been jailed for 10 years for hiding the fact that she's a woman and she wanted to trick other women into sex as though she was a man. She was using a prosthetic penis, okay. A sick creature. Do you know what I mean? What a sick creature. But is she or he or whatever we're supposed to say? A biologically born woman has been sentenced to 10 years, and I think that's fair. I really do. Trying to destroy rights of people. So one last blast of my book. This competition ends at the end of this month, so you haven't got long now. So there's only a few days. If you want to win a paperback copy of this book, I've got 1 or 3 copies up for grabs. All I need to know is what is the name of 007's character. The character written by the British novelist Ian Fleming and appeared in over 26 swashbuckling movies. Okay, if you want to win a copy, all you need to do is just DM me that to my GETTR account. Okay, just let me know what 007's name is, and you can enter wherever you are in the world. And the competition will end at midnight on the 31st of July. I hope there is a 31st of July, but I think there is. It ends on the end of this month. Okay, the last day of this month. It ends at midnight, and what I'll do is I will put all the names in a hat, and whoever wins, I will DM you back and let you know where I should send it. You know, you can enter anywhere in the world. You don't have to enter if you don't want to, but if you do want a free book, you know, that you've got a potential chance of winning, let me know. Well, I've run out of things to say, and I didn't think I was going to get through all that, to be quite honest. There were quite a lot today. Yep, Sunday is the 31st of July. I knew there was a 31st of July. I thought there was. I didn't know actually, but yeah, there is. So it will end on the Sunday, the 31st of July at midnight. So that's great. So join me on Saturday at 7 p.m. your Turf Island time, and yeah, I mean it's great. Please like the channel, comment, DM me. Yeah, that's perfect. So yep, thanks Amy for joining me. That's really appreciative, and have a good evening. Take care. We will speak soon. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the stream. So thank you, and see you Saturday.